Who provides the supplies and the equipment in the assisted living home that you guys will be running and that you guys will be operating? So in this video, I'm actually going to cover that topic about how to properly get supplies, who's going to pay for it, do you guys come out of pocket for it? So if you guys are interested, make sure you guys stick around. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serg. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys have shown the channel. And if you guys haven't yet, I've created a Facebook group called Legion Assisted Living Academy. I will link it down below. And make sure you guys actually answer the 3 questions prior to requesting yourselves into the group. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Supplies and equipment are something that you guys would want to know how to properly get, because it can add up and it can be very expensive if you guys do not do it the right way, and that if you guys go ahead and supply that, on top of everything else that you guys do, it will really cut into your profit margins. So I'm actually going to tell you guys a little bit how to avoid that and to actually save you guys a couple dollars every month, well, actually probably a couple $100 every month on supplies and equipment for the resident. So the first thing that you guys want to actually do when it comes to the supplies and the equipment is actually, do the assessment of the resident. See what they will be needing supply-wise. And if they're going to need quite a bit of supplies, you may want to take that into consideration when actually admitting them into your facility. And the less supplies that they need, obviously, the better it will be for you guys in the long run. They may eventually need all that supplies. So what you guys will do at that point, if they do need all that supplies, you may have to talk to the family. You probably will want to talk to the family and let them know, on top of everything else that you guys, the base price that you guys will be charging the resident just to live there and to feed them and do all of that and help them with the activities of daily living. Everything that you guys will have to pay for supplies for that specific resident, you guys will have to keep tabs and keep receipts and add that to the bill of the resident, right, to the family. And you guys are going to want to do that in order to actually save your guys' money and be reimbursed for it. If you guys don't do that, and you guys want to clarify that with the family and make sure that they understand that there will be a bill on top of the base price of what you guys will be charging every month, and as long as they're okay with it and they can afford it, then it's most likely all right for you guys to actually admit that resident into your home. And then on top of that, another way to do it, guys, is donations, right? You guys can actually go and get things from the hospital that are being donated, especially when it comes to the equipment. There's so much equipment that, over time just doesn't get used, and there's hospitals that donate that to, the community, and you guys would be able to go find these equipments, wheelchairs, walkers, all kinds of different canes, even anything that you guys can think of in that aspect. You guys can definitely do that. And on top of that, if you guys do end up coming out of pocket for it, you guys will be able to actually use that as a tax write-off for, your tax purposes. And that will ultimately, you won't get reimbursed until after the fact, or not even reimbursed, but you won't be able to write that off until the end of the year. But at least that kind of offsets your income. So that's, I guess, the benefit of doing something like this. And then on top of that, if you do buy it and it's your own equipment, you can actually do a tax write-off of where, as over time, as the equipment is getting wore down, you guys can write that off as well. And it's nice, just talk to a professional CPA about that regarding, writing that kind of stuff off and how it all works. Secondly, what you guys can actually do is talk to hospices. Hospices are all about helping, about giving you guys equipment for the resident. One thing that I would like to point out is that if a resident is on hospice, they will be getting a lot of equipment for free. In a sense, their Medicare is covering it, so therefore you're not having to come out of pocket at all. And a lot of that equipment you guys would be able to use for other residents. And depending on how many hospices you're working with, you may be getting a lot of equipment. Some hospices are very wary and cautious about how much supplies they give their resident, and then other hospices are like on a schedule, right? They bring it every 2 weeks, every week. They have it at a time scheduled, and they bring a certain amount every time. For instance, I have a resident who gets it bi-weekly, and I mean, our master bedroom closet is absolutely full with all kinds of equipment because, or even just supplies, not equipment. But then equipment is more specifically for that resident. So they'll only bring equipment specifically for what the resident needs. They won't bring all kinds of different equipment that's unnecessary. Like, for instance, if a resident is bedbound, they will bring a Hoyer lift for that specific resident. But what you can end up doing is using that Hoyer lift for everybody if that was necessary, if you guys wanted to. It's just one of those things that you want to be careful about and make sure that when you're using it for everybody, it doesn't end up being broken in the process of using it on another resident, because then that will come back on you and then you have to actually pay for it. So just be very cautious about that with the equipment. And then another way to do it, guys, is you can definitely, a lot of different residents have, equipment from home. They will have, prior to them moving into the home, they were going through something, or they're having to go through rehab for whatever reason, or they were just always using a walker and a wheelchair, right? And prior to them coming into your home, that's what they were using. So families will probably eventually have a lot of the equipment already prior to them actually moving into the home. You just have to make sure when you do inventory of the equipment that you actually put that down, and that if the resident ends up passing away or moving out, that equipment goes with them and that you don't end up keeping any of it. As for the supplies, meaning wipes, the pens, pads, everything of that sort, families usually don't have that. That stuff is actually pretty expensive, and most families aren't willing to like pay for that. And so if you got a resident that you could actually use their supply, it may not always be the right fit, like meaning it might not be the same size. It depends as the resident that's actually getting all the supplies with the other residents. But you could use the wipes and you could use different things of that sort that everybody could use. And as long as you can do that, you guys would be good. And then, the fourth thing that you guys can really do to help minimize the cost of supplies is actually go and like get a credit card. I'm just telling you guys this because it could add up, especially if you get the right credit card and you guys do cash rewards. And you guys go on Amazon and you guys purchase in bulk on Amazon, or even places like Costco or Sam's Club, whatever's in your area, and you guys buy in bulk. You guys can save a lot of money doing that, buying in bulk, instead of buying like little packets one at a time at like Walgreens or CVS or something. And you guys would be able to save a lot more money. And then on top of that, you guys would be able to get cash back rewards on that. And then that can add up. And then you guys can ultimately pay even more money or make more money by spending more money. So you guys can definitely do that. And then, like I said, guys, you guys can definitely write this off if it does come out of pocket from your guys' business. And then on top of that, it's just one of those things that you guys can really try to fill out and see what works. I highly recommend that if you got residents that could potentially be on hospice, or you just get them on a palliative program even, so that way they can actually supply just the equipment, and then also supply a fair amount of supplies for you guys in order to take care of that resident while they're on the palliative program. And then as they do get worse, they'll start declining. They will actually go into the hospice program completely and fully, and they'll get it reevaluated every 6 months as it goes with hospice. That's how they do it. They reevaluate each resident that is on their service every 6 months. So with equipment, guys, that's kind of how I do it, and that's how I go about it. Mainly when they're on hospice, I try to take residents that could potentially be on hospice down the road, and if they can be, I definitely work with hospices because they do a great job of providing the equipment, providing the supplies, providing not only communication with the family on, updating them about what's going on. So with hospice, it's a great thing. I absolutely love working with hospices. I think a lot of people veer away from hospices because they feel like they may be killing off the resident, if that makes sense. Hopefully that doesn't come out as bad as it sounds, but and that's not the case with hospices. So I just want to address that with hospices. But anyways, guys, if you guys stuck all the way to the end of this video, I greatly appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again for all the support that you guys have shown the channel. Make sure to hit that like button. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't yet, go join the Facebook group that I've created called Legion Assisted Living Academy, and go watch all these other videos, guys. They're very informative. And again, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you guys all in the next video. God bless. Peace.